right, good evening. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to this evening's political forum. I'm Amanda Gwatney. I'm the chairman for the Chamber of Commerce for this year, and we want to first start by thanking the Blue Ridge Community Theater for the use of their facility this evening, and they are selling drinks and snacks at the concession stand if you want to grab something before we get started with the candidates. The committee members for the political forum for tonight, this event has been put together by the Governmental Affairs Committee for the Chamber, and the chairperson for that committee is Teresa Bedez. She is here this evening. Also, C.J. Green, Stephen Miracle, and Tommy Vinoy, as well as myself. And of course, Jan Hackett is our coordinator and chamber president, and our go-to person. So Stephen Miracle is here with me this evening as a co-moderator. And tonight we're going to hear from the candidates for the school board seats currently occupied by Bobby Bearden and Steve Stanley on the Fannin County Board of Education, and the candidates for post 2 of the Fannin County Board of Commissioners. So you're going to hear from all of them. We have both Republicans and Democratic candidates as shown on your program, and the winners of each race in the primary on May 22nd will compete in the fall for the final vote. There are approximate times listed in your program, but those are just a rough estimate of how long we think each segment will take. And of course, that will depend upon the length of time that the candidates use to answer questions and do their opening and closing statements. The candidates are being asked to give a 3-minute opening statement. Then they'll be asked several questions that were developed by the Governmental Affairs Committee. And if there is time permitting, they'll also answer questions from the audience. So if you have a question that you would like to ask, there will be members of the Governmental Affairs Committee around the theater with notepads and pens. Feel free to write down a question and submit it to them, and we will ask questions as we have time. Each question will have a 2-minute response time. And chamber staff members Diane Malerney and Kim Foster will be in the front row timing, and we'll let the speaker know when 1 minute is up and then when 2 minutes is over. And at the 2-minute time, we will go ahead and cut your answer off at that point so that we can keep moving through the program. After the answer and question period, the candidates will give a 2-minute closing statement. We'd also like to thank ETC for videotaping the forum. They will be airing the forum at a later time, and we will send those out through the newsletter and on Facebook so that you know when those times are that you can review the forum from tonight and share it with your friends so that they can all hear from the candidates before they go to vote. We'd ask the candidates not to campaign or distribute campaign materials in the theater. And the candidates, as you're doing your opening, closing, and answering the questions, feel free to talk from the table or come to the podium, whichever you prefer. All right. What have I forgotten so far?
Nothing. You're good.
Okay. All right. We do have an item that was left at the concession stand. If that belongs to anybody, you can feel free to come down and get this either now or later. So, all right. We're going to start with the Fannin County Board of Education seats, and we'll begin with the seat currently occupied by Bobby Bearden. And we're going to begin, of course, with opening statements. Each candidate has 3 minutes, and we'll start with our incumbent, Bobby Bearden.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? I can't tell if I'm reaching up there or not. Anyhow, I'm Bobby Bearden. I appreciate the Chamber for having us here and answering some questions and comments. And I've been privileged to be on the board for 16 years. It's been more than a privilege. It's been a blessing and an honor to be on the board for 16 years. Currently, I'm retired from the muffler shop out on Josh Hall. Currently, I'm working for the city of Blue Ridge. I work with the Parks and Recreation Department. And I'm honored to represent the citizens and the children of Fannin County. You know, when you get up here and you think all these things you want to say, and then when you get up here and start looking at people, you forget everything that you wanted to say, you know what I mean? But anyhow, it's been a blessing. It really has. I can say that the 16 years that I've served on the school board, I wouldn't take nothing for it. Wouldn't take nothing for it. I will tell you, though, right now I've got 4 things on my agenda, and I don't know where everybody else has got an agenda or not. But anyhow, the first thing I got on my agenda is children. The second thing I got on my agenda is children. Third thing I got on my agenda is children. And the fourth thing I got on my agenda is the taxpayers and citizens of Fannin County. And I'm honored to serve all of those. You know, I've got over 3,000 kids. Every child that's in the school system is my child. And I figure I owe them, and I've tried for 16 years to give them the best education that they can get. I always tell people that they need the best education that they get. I'm going to stop, Diane. I know, but I'm just going to stop. Anyhow, anyhow, I know I got more time, but anyhow, I'll take some more time over here. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
All right, next we have Marvin Allen.
I'd like to say hello. My name's Marvin Allen. As most of you already know, I'm running for a Republican nomination for the Fannin County Board of Education. I'm a 1987 graduate of Fannin County High School and a lifelong resident of Fannin County. My wife, Tanya, and I reside in the Epworth area. We have 4 children. They've all graduated Fannin County High. The platform I'm running on is my concerns for the children of Fannin County. Their safety is certainly number 1. Next on the list is education. This is very, very important to me also. I feel like every boy and girl born in this world has a purpose. And I feel sometimes it's up to us to help them find it. Another issue that I'm concerned about is the consideration of the taxpaying citizens of this county. They're the ones that fund this deal. And I think the people need to be heard when they're speaking. All of these are issues, are the reasons why I'm seeking this board. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Jeff DePaula.
Thank you, Chamber, for this opportunity and putting this forum together. It's an honor to be a part of the process and running for school board. And I moved up to Blue Ridge 4 years ago thinking I was going to slow down and kind of semi-retire perhaps, but I'm now the managing broker of Mountain Place Realty up behind Ingalls. We're the keeper of the big flag up on the hill there. And I also was amazed at Fannin County and the spirit of the community here. And I've gotten involved with some organizations like Feed Fannin, and I'm happy to work with them, and I go to the food bank and see firsthand members of our community. I see children come in with their parents, sometimes their grandparents, extended family. So I know there's issues out there that we could address as a community. And that's kind of the platform I'm running on, is opportunity through community. We have a lot of very qualified and willing folks in our community in the business sector and the private sector, a lot of very qualified retirees that are willing to step up. So I'd love to get into the system and identify those opportunities that we can come together as a community and help our kids through this process. It takes a village to get a child to graduate high school. And we've got the kids that excel. We have good programs for them to continue on to college, but we have a large group that need help, or maybe there's more vocational type programs that we could put in place, or mentoring programs that I've been involved with in the past in Atlanta, my past career. With Delta Airlines, I was able to work through the Boys and Girls Club, and we did a mentoring program for about 4 years with at-risk kids from Capital Homes Housing Project in Atlanta. And we stuck with those kids for 4 years. And they are in their 30s today. They're out of the system. They have kids of their own that are excelling. So I know intervention and commitment through personal sacrifice of your time, which is hard to do, it can make a big difference in a child's life. So I thank you, and I look forward to moving forward with the process here.
Thank you. Now we'll start with the question portion of the forum for these candidates. Each candidate will have an opportunity to answer the same question. We'll have a series of questions. So, and the candidate will be allowed 2 minutes to respond. So the first candidate to begin answering the first question will be Mr. Bearden. And the question is, what do you feel should be the primary focus of the school board?
The primary focus of the school board is making policy. Making policy. We have an excellent superintendent to carry out those policies. A lot of people think that the school board runs the school, but the school board does not run the school. The superintendent runs the school. The school board makes sure that the superintendent carries out all the policies that we have. I've been privileged to work with 3 great superintendents, and that's about all I got to say about that. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, the same question.
Well, I feel the answer to that question is to work with the superintendent on policies, and the budget is a big part of it. I mean, you know, I feel like the school board needs to work together, and they need to listen to the community and work together with the community and with the superintendent on policies and the budget.
Thank you. Mr. DePaula, the same question for you.
Sure. I feel like the board is a liaison between the community, the public, and the school system itself. So anything that we can do to be more engaged with the community side as well as the school side, and kind of bring them together. And I think it's already starting with the charter system that's been put in place. I think it's an excellent idea. It does allow, it appears, a little more flexibility from the more rigid state guidelines of how to run your system. And so I'd like to explore that and see just how far you can go with that flexibility to really benefit the kids and get to that 100% graduation rate we'd love to see at the high school level.
Okay, the next question, we'll start with Mr. Allen for this one. What specific experience do you have which will benefit the Fannin County school system?
The experience I've had, I mean, I've been through the school system. We've had our children go through the school system. We've had children that's went on and are still in college. We've had children that's played sports. We've had children that's been involved in the band. And I helped Wesley Chastain with the fishing program they have going now. And those are the experiences I've had.
Okay, Mr. DePaula, and if you need me to repeat the question, just let me know.
No, I'm good. I think my business background, I started with Delta Airlines when I was 19 years old, right out of high school. And they trained me from scratch to be a computer programmer. And then from there, I helped start a small division within Delta that sold software systems that they had created for themselves to other airlines. So I've got kind of an entrepreneurial spirit about me. I feel like I have a really good eye for looking at a situation and seeing opportunities to make it better. And not that there's anything wrong with the school system. I've been blessed to be a part of Leadership Fannin for 2 years, and we've toured the schools, met faculty, students, and I just come away like, I can't believe how great this is. I mean, these students, the kids are amazing. It's just got a good energy there. So, but anything I can do to help meet the goals of the system, because I know they're being looked at by the state, especially with the charter system that's in place. And so anything that we can do to help meet the goals and for the state would be great.
Okay, and Mr. Bearden,
Would you repeat the question, please?
what specific experience do you have which will benefit the Fannin County school system?
Well, as I said, I've been there 16 years, and I've got plenty of experience. When I first came on 16 years ago, we were building the new gym and the PAC, and we saw all that through. We redid the stadium. We're currently building an ag center down on Ada Street, which will greatly benefit the kids and the community. Let me share something with you that blows my mind. The whole board went to all 5 schools the other day, and I saw, and I'm an old farm boy. I grew up farming and stuff like that. I saw plants that never been put in soil growing. Now, our children are learning some great things, I think. And you'll have to check that out, how that you can grow a plant without it ever being in soil. That's really neat. But I got so much behind me, I couldn't tell you all of it. But like I said, I've been blessed 16 years, and I've been there and done that. I've been the school chair, the board chair, I've been the vice chair, and I'm just privileged to be on the board. I don't care where I'm chair, vice chair, I'm just privileged to be on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DePaula, the first question, or this question will be yours to answer first. And the question is, what do you believe makes an effective school board?
I think it's just a cooperative group that really listens to the school system, the superintendent, and takes an interest in what they're trying to accomplish before they put their final stamp on that and communicate that back to the public. And it's also being that true liaison back to the taxpayer, the public, parents that have kids coming through the system, and find out what the real needs are. Every child grows up in a different environment and has different needs, and anything we can do to customize somebody's education, especially through the efforts of our community and volunteers and mentors, I'd be all about that.
Mr. Bearden, the same question for you.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. What do you believe makes an effective school board?
Effective school board. Well, let me say this up front. I've been there 16 years, and I can't recall this school board ever having a big fuss. In fact, when I talk to people about meeting, I say, if you want to find out what a meeting's all about, come to the school board meeting, and you'll find out exactly. For the time that I've been on there, we've all worked together. We ain't all agreed, which we got 5 members, and we won't always agree, but we come together when it's time to come together. And we just been really good together. I was talking to a guy less than 2 hours ago, and he was talking to me and said, do you think you're going to win? I said, I don't know. He said, well, me and my wife talked it over and said, we decided if it ain't broke, don't need fixing. So anyhow, the school board works great together. The current school board works great together, and we're happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, the same question.
I think what makes an effective school board is a school board that will work together and a school board that will listen to what the people of the community are saying. Right now, it seems like, we've got, a little bit of, our attitude's going the wrong way, and I think we need to fix it. I mean, there's just, I've got some energy that I would like to spend, and give back to this community and to this county. And I just think that's the big thing, is the board working together and then listening to what the people have got to say. Thank you.
All right, the next question will go back to Mr. Bearden as the first one to answer the question. And the question is, what is the role of a school board member?
Role of a school board member. Pay attention to what all the citizens have to say. I have people come to me in different fashions and stuff like that, want me to do this or that. The only thing that I can do is listen, and for 16 years I've listened to people and heard their concerns, such as that. And here's that stage fright again. I don't know. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Allen?
I think the role of a school board member is, like I said earlier, you got policies, you got to say it, you got a budget, you got to monitor. And also, you have the people of the community, which is a big important part of the school system, because the taxpayers fund it. I mean, we've got to pay attention when we're being talked to about different things that's going on, and we got to be a mouthpiece for this community. Thank you.
All right, Mr. DePaula?
Well, I agree with Bobby and Marvin. We definitely need to be a cooperative unit in the whole and participate with the community, definitely have open ears and be willing to communicate concerns, ideas back to the school system, to the superintendent, and see if we can make any additions or changes that would benefit the whole system.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, if you'll be the first to respond to this. What value do you see in the district's charter and existence of school governance teams? You like me to repeat that?
Yeah.
What value do you see in the district's charter and existence of school governance teams?
I think these teams are very important because it brings more people on board to give their views and their ideas of the spending and to overlook the budget also. And I think the more people you can get involved, the less likely you are to make a mistake. So, these teams are very, very important.
Thank you. Mr. DePaula?
Yeah, I'm excited about the school governance teams. They're made up of the community, parents, business folks, members of the school system themselves, and the principal. And it sounds to me like they have actual power, that they can make decisions on behalf of their school. And at the high school level, they have 2 students that are advisory members. And I don't see why they don't do that for the middle and elementary school. From what I saw on the tours, some of those elementary school kids would just blow your mind about how smart they are and what they know and how confident. So I'd be willing to listen to them right now.
Mr. Bearden, if you will respond to the same question.
Okay. I was overwhelmed when we became a charter system. I told them that's what we've needed the whole time. We have more control over what happens in Fannin County after we became a charter system than we did before. There's a lot of people in south of us who don't know what Fannin County needs, but Fannin County knows what Fannin County needs. I know when I first heard of all the people who were on the governance teams in each of the schools, it tickled me to death. Because 95% of all the people that were on Blue Ridge, East Fannin, West Fannin, middle school and high school, I knew. Great people. And I consider it a blessing for Fannin County that we got the charter system and we got the governance teams to take care of each school, what happens there. Thank you.
All right, the next question, Mr. DePaula, if you'll start us off with this one. And the question is, what would be your top priorities during your term in office?
I think it would be to identify the kids that may be struggling in the system. I think sometimes it's even hard to identify who they are. You might be able to tell from their grades or their performance or their behavior. But I think if we're able to have boots on the ground, not just the faculty, not just administration, but more community members that are willing to reach out and meet with kids. I think these governance teams or faculty can help us identify who they are, but get in there and have one-on-one, have mentoring programs, and just you just don't know what's going on in the life of a child. And if you can have an intervention early and help them out, you might be totally surprised what they can accomplish in their career here in Fannin County school system. So that would be my main goal if I was on the board, besides taking care of business at hand that would need to be taken care of.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bearden?
As I've said before, a quality education is always my first priority. I don't believe a child needs to go to school and not learn anything. I think they need to go to school and learn, and if they've got all the tools there that they can learn, then they'll be better equipped to be better citizens when they get out. I just heard today we applied for a grant, a literacy grant for over $1 million, and we got it. And that'll be great. That'll be great. I've always tried to do what I could to make things better for the schools, for the children, as well as the faculty and everybody that works in the system. Thank you.
And Mr. Allen?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. What would be your top priorities during your term in office?
My top priority would be, just like I said on my opening statement, number one, safety. Right now, this is a big, big issue all over the United States. You know, we gotta get them here. Once we get them here, we gotta make sure we keep them safe. And one of the big issues, you know, that I've seen taking place, you know, we've got a bad dilemma on getting bus drivers. It starts first thing of the morning, and that's the last thing that happens of the evening. I mean, we need quality bus drivers, and right now we don't have them. I mean, I'd love to see this big yellow bus going over here beside Burger King. I think we need to look at those items, and we need to work on them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bearden, if you'll start us out with the next question, please, which is, what is your motivation for running for this office?
My motivation for running for this office, children. That's what it's all about. You know, here I am, 69. I'm almost ready to go on. But children, that's a God-given gift, and there's nothing that I can think of it's more worthy than children. Let me say this about bus drivers. I wish we could get some more bus drivers too. We even offered a $500 incentive to get more bus drivers, but they're just not out there. And let me tell you this while I'm talking, and it's just a tad off, but anyhow, we only take good bus drivers. You've got to be top notch to be driving the bus. Mr. Benny Long is our safety man, and if he won't put his child on a bus he ain't gonna put yours on. So I wish we could get more bus drivers. We really need those, but the ones we got they're good. Thank you.
Mr. Allen?
Repeat the question.
Yes, sir. What is your motivation for running for this office?
My motivation for running is the children of Fannin County, and my motivation for running is the citizens of Fannin County. I've had a lot of people that's helped me through my life here in this county. I've been here my whole life, and y'all are my motivation for running because I want to give it back. I want to give you some of my time and energy, and I want to give back. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DePaula?
Yeah, I agree with Marvin. It's about giving back, and the education system is so important to the future of our community and for the country. And to be a part of that and to maybe, plug into the system and see what opportunities are out there. And you're not going to know, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You've got to get into the middle of it and discover these opportunities. Fannin County school system, I think, is amazing and it's great already, but what level can we take it to? And I would like to be a part of that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next question. Do you think it's a good idea to hire only local teachers? Why or why not? Mr. Allen, we're going to start with you on this one.
Well, I think we should choose locals if we can, but I mean, if we've got other people, from other counties that are qualified for the job, and we don't have people that are from here that's qualified, I think we should use out-of-town people then. But I mean, I think we need to consider our local people, the people that's been here in this county and have came through these school systems. I think we need to use them every time we can. Thank you.
Mr. DePaula?
Well, I think it would just be all about who's the best qualified. Depending on what the need is, the position they're trying to fill, sometimes it's good to get somebody from another area, another state, just to bring their experience and what they've learned to this district. But what I've seen, we've had plenty of good local folks that are a part of the system here, and so yeah, it would just be a matter of who's the most qualified.
And Mr. Bearden?
I agree. I want my child to have the best teacher they can, and I'm going to make a statement, and I think I'm 100% right. All of our teachers are 100% qualified to teach. They're not 80%, they're 100%. And that's what it's going to take to make children worthy to be citizens, productive citizens later on. I know we got some great people here in Fannin County, and I'm a Fannin County man. If somebody comes and they're top-notch, they go through an interview and they're top-notch, put them on. But I also think that if they can't make the grade and there's somebody from somewhere else who may have better ideals, and a lot of times those ideals create a lot more than just the common thing. But I am for, if they're good, hiring from here. But sometimes you can't. It's just like bus drivers. If a guy come in from Florida tomorrow and he met all the qualifications to drive the bus, he's on. You can't find him. But we got some smart people in Fannin County. We really do. And I appreciate everybody that applies for teaching positions and stuff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This will be the last round of questions, and Mr. DePaula, you'll start us off. What is your own experience with public education?
Well, besides going through it myself, just being in the real estate business, after I left Delta after 20 years, I started a real estate business, and I saw the power of the schools over the values of the properties in Atlanta, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And I got involved with making donations to the local public school where I did most of my business, and then I saw the participation of parents. What started out as was perceived as not a good public elementary school, after parents got involved, it changed, and then the property values started to change, and so the quality of the education is definitely a collaborative effort, and the community getting involved makes a huge difference. And then I also was a part of the, when I worked for Delta, I was on the board for the local Boys and Girls Club. And so the kids that we were dealing with were coming out of the public schools, and so we were mentoring them, and we saw where perhaps it was a little bit of maybe not the greatest education in some of the schools in the city of Atlanta. And so you can see the differences that exist. And so I think Fannin County is blessed to have this community supporting the school system, and it's an amazing system already, and it can only get better. So.
Thank you. Mr. Bearden,
Repeat the question, please.
what is your own experience with public education?
Well, I can tell you, let's see. There was 8 children, and I'm the only one that finished high school. You know, I've been a worker all my life. I started working when I was 10 at my dad's shop, and I ain't stopped yet, you know. And I think when it comes to school, if everybody pitches in and works hard, it'll all get accomplished. And I've run my own business for 35 years. I retired. I've got another business. I'm leaving tomorrow, going to South Georgia, and I umpire. I got 4 businesses, and I just think I've got what it takes to make everything run. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Allen,
Repeat the question.
what is your own experience with public education?
My experience is just going through, I went through Fannin County High School, had that experience. Been through it with our kids. I mean, you know, and just seeing how everything runs and how everything works, you know, from that perspective. I mean, I've not actually ever been inside the school system, you know, as far as work or anything like that, but, you know, that's basically all I've got. You know, I've contributed to all kinds of extra activities, you know, that they've had, and like I say, I helped Wesley Chastain put together the fishing team, which is currently at the school now, and that's about it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go ahead and do the closing statements. And Mr. Bearden, if you'll start us off, you'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank every one of you for being here today. I know I blew it, you know, but anyhow, that's just me. I'm just Bobby Bearden, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a citizen of Fannin County, and I have been. I spent 3 years in the Army. Other than that, I've been in Fannin County. If I'm worthy to be elected again, I promise that I'll do everything that I can for our children, for the taxpayers and citizens of Fannin County, and devote 4 more years to doing what I've done. It's just been a blessing. It really has. I'm going to make this statement, and then I'm done. May the 22nd, you're having your heart taken out. Doctor's going to work on it and put it back in. Do you want somebody who's got a lot of experience to do that? Or do you want somebody that's never done it? And I'm not trying to be like I sound, okay? I'm not that kind of person. You know, I appreciate Mr. Allen. He's a fine man, and the other gentleman, he's a fine man too. But anyhow, I'm just saying, you know. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bearden. All right, Mr. Allen, you'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for everybody that's come. That it means a lot to us to see this kind of turnout. And it shows that y'all are concerned with our community. And that's really something to say, to get this many people to come. Throughout my life living here in Fannin County, I've had many people that's helped me. This community is full of people like that. They are willing to help you if you're in time of need. And I feel like it's my time to offer something back. I'd love to volunteer my time and my energy to the good people of this county and their children, which are the future of this county. If I'm elected to this seat, I'll make you 2 promises. I'll give you all I've got for 4 years, and I will listen when you speak. I will always take time to consider the citizens of this county and what I feel like they would want. I think this is very important to have the support of this community behind this board. I would greatly appreciate it if I could get your support on May the 22nd in the Republican primary. Thank you.
And Mr. DePaula, 2 minutes for your closing statement.
I agree with Marvin. I appreciate everybody coming out here and taking your time to listen to us and where we stand on the issues, and I find it very much a privilege to be a part of this, and I wish I had some ammunition to try to beat up the competition, but I don't. I mean, I feel the school system, from what I can see and observe and experience by visiting the schools, is it's a pretty special school system. And I would just like to be able to work and with the superintendent and all the faculty and students and the citizens of Fannin County, and see if we can't find some ways to tweak it and make it even better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give all these candidates a big hand in your appreciation for their running. We will take a very, very short break as we ask these gentlemen to leave, and will the 5 candidates for the other school board position please come and take your seats.